You're listening to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody. It is episode number 390 of the OMG Hour, and after all this time, you know what? I'm still Sean Evans, otherwise known
still talking
as Zion Tane.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. I have made a poor leg choice before we started, and now I'm kind of stuck in this position.
So now you got to move and make a whole bunch of noise on your squeaky chair.
A squeaky chair. I need a new chair as well. I do need a new chair.
You know what you should get?
Now I fixed.
You should get a Secret Labs chair. They are. This is my Secret Lab chair, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's the Overwatch chair because I happen to like the design and the color, but it's Canadian and it's fantastic. It is the best chair I've ever had in my life. You should get it. This episode brought to you by Secret Lab. Well, not really. Man, it'd be cool if it was. I'd be cool if it was.
Then I'd have one of them, and I wouldn't be sitting there going, do I have the money to get one? You know, if it was brought to us by them, it would be a lot easier.
Yes,
if
exactly.
they would just send me one. And I'd be happy to say that this show was brought to you by them, that my breakfast was brought to you by them, that anything's brought to you by them. If they want to give me a chair, I'm fine. They can sponsor every moment of my day.
Wow, you want them to bring you breakfast is what I'm hearing.
No, my breakfast was brought to you by them. So like the fact that I'm eating breakfast was sponsored by them letting me have a chair to sit on.
To eat your breakfast.
Yeah, or lunch, brunch.
This show is just I need a drink. I'm done. I need a drink. And speaking of being done, we should probably say something. So,
okay, Sean.
For those of you who haven't been paying attention over the last 40? Yeah. Over the last 40 episodes, for those who have not been paying attention and have not noticed that we've been spelling out a message to you every episode. And if you haven't noticed that, go back and check the title of every episode up until now.
I'll be right back.
So Tico, just in case you didn't know, I've decided really is what it came down to it, that the OMG Hour is going to come to an end at episode 400.
What, Sean?
Yes.
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this?
Well, because I didn't think you needed to know.
Well, that's okay. That's a fair point.
It was. It actually came down to I almost decided to end it at 350. It was just, the time, it was just getting to be time. And I thought, well, you know what, let's go out on an even 400. You know what? This show has been going on for nearly 9 years now that I've been doing this like pretty much every week for 9 years. Of course, there's the odd week here and there when we're not around, but it's a lot. To every single week. And then, of course, we've got our new shows on YouTube. We've got our Kicking Tables and Flipping Tables, which is taking up a lot of our time and a lot of effort. Like a lot of late nights getting those videos up and going. And, it's time for Tico and I to move on to new things is really what it comes down to,
Yeah. I mean, we're still going to be around doing stuff, just not this exact thing.
Right. We aren't going anywhere. The channel isn't going anywhere. The podcast is simply coming to an end at episode 400, which will be basically in the new year, just after the new year. It's around the middle of January will be the last episode. So we'll be around for the new generation and into the new year. I wanted to say that now and give you kind of an idea of why we're doing it. It's just, I feel it's, the OMG Hour has, in my opinion, just kind of run its course. It's been 9 years and it's time to move on to new things, and stuff we really enjoy doing. As everyone knows, we've been much more into board gaming reviews and our interviews with Kicking Tables. We're having an absolute blast with that. And so we're shifting gears. We're certainly not going to stop playing video games. And
we'll still be doing that. We might have the odd episode here or there where we just throw out there with some sort of really cool thing if something comes out.
Well, I still hope to be able to do like even video game reviews, not necessarily here on the show, but as their own standalone episode on YouTube. So, bottom line, the podcast is ending. We are still around on YouTube, and we're going to be for a while.
Yeah.
Long story short. So
that
that
wasn't
is
even
it.
short, Sean.
No, it wasn't.
That was a long story that you kept
Listen,
long. Is
it
what
was,
that was
9 years worth of saying we're ending now. Don't worry. I'm really hoping to do something special for episode 400, but so far my idea is not panning out, unfortunately, which is sad. But we'll see. I know we got 10 more weeks to figure that out.
We got 10 weeks. 10 weeks is plenty of time.
That's right. So anyway, welcome. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button here on the YouTubes and give us a like and comment and click the bell notification so you know when we get all new episodes out on the YouTubes. Tico,
yes.
What is this Jeopardy Playshow you have in the notes?
All right. So
what
this came out today.
Oh.
And normally when I play something that came out like right away, like I like to give it some time but I played this today and it was such a weird experience. I wanted to share it with you, Sean.
There's no video though.
No, because again, I literally
you just started playing it. Oh, okay.
And now like I played one episode. I'm gonna play more and I'll grab some video. I don't even know if technically we can show the video because of how this is presented.
Oh.
Well,
but you're gonna have to explain that.
Now I'm gonna explain it. So,
yeah.
Jeopardy Playshow is a new Jeopardy game that just popped on to the Xbox, I assume PlayStation and other places as well. But It is like the You Don't Know Jack games. You play the game and you log in with your phone to play a Jeopardy game. But instead of the animated figures, it's an actual episode of Jeopardy from like 2011 or something like that. And it's Alex Trebek and there's the people on the show. And they go through and they do the questions, and before they answer the question, it gives you the option to buzz in on your phone, and it takes you can either type it in or use your microphone on your phone and say what is Delaware or whatever the answer might be.
Wow!
And it recognizes it and it pops it up, and so everybody plays on their phone the same way you would play You Don't Know Jack. But the fact that it's old episodes of Jeopardy, it's not like like programmed, stuff like that. They're actually taking the old episodes,
actual live action, real episodes, live footage.
Alex Trebek.
Oh my gosh!
The mustache. Actually, the episode I saw, he was mustache-less. But contestants from back then who did it, like they're in there. So like when it goes to to find out the right answer, it goes to continues on the video of them.
So you must have to log in because it must be streaming this from some server then. Because you're not going to have all those episodes downloaded to your Xbox.
No, because it was almost instantaneous. That I went like, okay, I'll get it. It's like ding, and it's like ready to go. I'm like, oh, that wasn't even. So it's streaming it.
It's streaming from the cloud. Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that it's the live episodes was so cool, and the fact that you're doing like with the phone, it's like you have to actually, and you have to do it in the form of a question, of course, because it is Jeopardy. But I just love the fact that it's a You Don't Know Jack style game. Like everybody logs into the Playshow store. I'm guessing that they're going to have other Playshow stuff in addition to Jeopardy, but this might be the first one on there. But it's of that ilk, that the party game style thing where everybody has their phone and you have to buzz in and throw your answer out there.
That is so cool.
And
wow,
it was such a neat experience, and that's why I say I'm not sure if we can show the footage because it's
real
Jeopardy
footage. It's actual. Yeah, you're right. It's
yeah,
copyrighted material.
So I imagine that we might be able to, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to capture some anyways. If you really want to know what it looks like, watch an old episode of Jeopardy.
Watch Jeopardy and pretend you're playing along. Exactly. That's what this.
And that's what it felt like when I watched Jeopardy when it was on TV. When I used to watch on TV, that's what it felt like. I'm sitting there and I'm yelling my answers at the TV.
Yeah.
And that's what it is because I've just got the thing. I press the button. And it's like, what is this? And I feel like exactly like I used to watch when I watched the old episodes of Jeopardy, like growing up. That's what exactly it felt. It was such a nostalgic experience at the same time as being really cool that they've integrated into this game.
Now, I've seen Jeopardy, but I have never sat down to watch it. Like, it's sort of one of those things where I might have been at my grandmother's house or something, and she's watching Jeopardy, or my parents. I have never sat down to watch Jeopardy.
We used to do a family thing. My mother was a huge fan of Jeopardy, so we would like Jeopardy when it was on. We'd sit down as a family and we'd watch and yell our answers at the TV. And you feel really smart when you beat these people, who are like, oh, this guy's a 5-day champion and whatever. And you're like, and I played, by the way, and my score was higher than the score of all of the people who played. So I would have won that episode of Jeopardy.
You know what this is, Tigo?
Yeah.
This is Jeopardy's way of getting new contestants. They're going to see who gets the highest score and then invite you on the show.
I would go. I would gladly go on Jeopardy.
Excellent.
I would be happy to be on Jeopardy because I am really smart, Sean.
SMRT?
SMRT.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, definitely, I'm sure the legion of fans of Jeopardy will absolutely love this game, and if they've been watching it, they will be watching with their dog.
They should watch this.
And speaking of watching with their dog and the legion of fans, we played Watchdog Legions. Ubisoft gave us. Did you like that transition there, Tico? That was
one of the worst you've ever done by far. People are be going like, thank God the show's ending now. We're done with this sort of crap. Worst ever. But we did play Watchdogs Legion.
Oh my gosh.
Legion this week.
So Ubisoft provided each of us a review code for this. I'm playing on PS4. You're playing on Xbox. I have not had a chance to get too far into it because here's the funny story. You got your code like a week ago.
A week ago, yes.
I got my code yesterday because Sony apparently was really delayed in sending out the codes to Ubisoft.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
then.
so Ubisoft actually didn't have the PlayStation codes because Sony hadn't provided them yet. And yet Microsoft had provided all their codes last week. So you've been playing it for about a week. So I don't have footage, but you do. And I need to know, Tico, what you think of the game because I'm not that far into it.
So first of all, like it starts you off on a cool tutorial mission, which is really fun.
Which is what I've played essentially, right? It's fantastic.
Which is what you've played. Which is really fun, and it starts you off basically as a super spy James Bond character, and spoiler alert, you don't get to finish the game as James Bond. You are one of the everyday people in the city of London, one of the Legion, and you can recruit whoever you want. You can grab people to recruit them. You basically say, hey, I want to recruit this guy, and they give you a side mission that you do to recruit them.
That's real, and you like literally anyone on the street you can. That is so cool. Yeah, and then so each of those people on the street has their own custom, I guess, recruitment mission.
Right. Yeah. So it's a separate mission to get them. Each person too, you can scan them to find out what their strengths and weaknesses are. What their personal vehicle is, what their skill set entails. And you pick and choose who you want to bring into the fold, and then you can switch as you're going through. You can switch from any of your players, and like, okay, I'm playing as this guy right now. I think that this guy is not perfect for this mission. I'm going to switch to my construction worker because he has a better, he can be inconspicuous when climbing around construction sites or something like that.
Right. He fits
and you bring whoever you want into the mission. To be able to do that. Now I've been playing mostly as the same couple of characters, but just there's a few things I absolutely love. There's these lifter drones. I can't remember what they're called, but like they're these drones that are meant for like picking up things and moving things around. But these big ones, you can jump on top of it and then hack it and then fly around like it's like a giant surfboard in the sky.
That's cool. Yeah,
and it's so much fun.
And I mean, the game, from what I've played, I've played through the tutorial, which is essentially the setup. Yep. The setups sets up the story, and then you go through and it gives you the option of picking, I think, from 16 characters to start with. You have basically a screen full of characters, and you read through them, and it's like, I want this guy. So I actually took the guy that had, and I'm wondering if they're random too. Even like I wonder if the list I got was different from your list.
Different from mine.
Like I don't know. I don't know what your list was, but I got a guy who was, I think he has the drones. He can call in the flying drones. So that was the guy I picked first. So he's essentially, bringing the DedSec base up and running and in London here, and That's where I am. I played for like an hour, which was the tutorial and like the beginning of the first mission.
Yeah.
It was also like midnight, so it's like I
Yeah,
can't
and
spend too much time with it.
it really is one of those games too that you finish a mission and the next one sort of just flows from it too.
Yeah.
It's like you do something, it's like now go here, and you really feel it's hard to put down. It's hard to be like, okay, like you don't really feel like, oh, I finished this massive mission and you get this big mission over. You know,
Yeah.
move on to the next one. You feel like it's just one big flowing story as you go along. So it is hard to stop. I found like 3 a.m. or something like that. I was finishing off a couple of times.
What I found was it felt very natural to get into this game control wise.
Yeah.
Very, very natural, very easy to control, and like literally no questions as to what do I need to do. Even on the beginning, it doesn't really handhold you. It handholds you a little bit, but the rest of it is it's so natural to just I know what I'm doing. Just tell me where I need to go for this mission. I know what I'm doing. It feels right. The stealth feels right. The driving feels solid. And it's like, wow, it's so. I've always been a proponent for proper controls in a game, and this controls beautifully. Right from the start, it felt right.
Yeah, the weapons feel they control well. The fighting, the combat is actually really well put together with like basically you've got a dodge, you've got a grapple, and you've got a punch.
Yeah.
And it's just timing it well.
And you just like setting off the alarms, don't you?
So I'm not good at stealth. I think we've
established this over the years, yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at stealth. You saw, if you're watching the video there, you saw I walked through the sensor and then turned around and turned off the alarm after setting it off.
Which is sure. The guards never came, so you must have done something right.
Oh, because I'd murdered them all before I went in there. I'd shot them all already.
Okay.
So yeah, no, they never came because everybody in the vicinity of that I had killed already. I've tried stealth. I've tried sneaking around. It's like, I'm just gonna be super stealthy. And then all of a sudden some guy sees me and it says, and now I got to kill a bunch of people. This is on you because you couldn't keep, your back turned. That's whose fault it is.
Well, what I love is they've just like Watch Dogs 2. And again, I'm not far in, but already I've got the sense that you can play this game in whatever style you want. I played the entire Watch Dogs 2 in complete stealth. I never used a lethal weapon in the entire game. From start to finish, not a single bullet was shot by my character. And I played the entire game like that. And it looks like you could do that here as well if you have the right characters.
You have the right character. You learn to use there's stuff like you can use like drones to take guys out. You can shock them instead of killing them. You can hijack depending on your... you can hijack different things. You can set traps for the guys rather than doing what I do, which is run around and shoot them in the face.
Kill things, exactly.
So I'm not so good at the stealth, but there's different characters. There's different ways to get to each area. There's different ways to achieve. Like I climbed up the stairs and everything like that, but I could have used that hover thing just to fly right up to the top, drop me off.
Sure, exactly.
And wait and stealth the whole thing out. But
now I have to ask you one thing.
Style.
At the very beginning of the game, it actually asks you, do you want permadeath or no? Did you choose for permadeath?
I chose no because I was just hopping into it and I didn't know really what does permadeath mean. Now that I've been playing it a little bit, I'm okay with that, with switching there. You do have to be a little bit more cautious because if one of your guys dies,
they're dead. They're gone.
They're dead. You can recruit more people.
Right.
But like, man, if you really like somebody's skill set or look or whatever, you want to be careful.
And you get them killed, then that character is. So I chose for permadeath, knowing that it was like, okay, it's going to be kind of like, it's going to be scary playing because, like you said, if you find a character you really, really like, and you make a mistake and they die, that character's gone for the game. It like you're going to have to find another one of those type of that skill set.
Yeah.
And that's it's kind of scary thinking of it like that the game could end. If all of your operatives die and you haven't recruited another, it's game over.
Yeah.
You know?
I chose no to permanent because I wanted to see what the game, how the game played, and like how impactful is permadeath. Now that I've played a little bit, I'm like, okay, I can recruit more people. So if a guy dies, you can turn it on. You can turn it back on after you've started the game. If you chose no to start.
Actually, I believe it's the other way around. If you turn it on, you can turn it off, but you can't turn it on again. So that
I thought you could turn it on.
I
didn't read it well.
believe once you've started the game, you can no longer choose permadeath. I could be wrong, but it did say something about you can turn it off. Like if you choose it, you can turn it off, but you can't turn it back on after you've turned it off.
I could boot the game up right now and check. In 45 minutes when the loading screens stop, we can tell you.
Oh my gosh, is it the same for Xbox as PlayStation? Are the loading screens ridiculous?
I mean, it's once you get into it, there's no once the game pops in, there's not really any loading. But to load in for the first time, like when you're booting up from off, it takes a fair chunk of time.
It was a minute or two, like to load for the first time on PlayStation. And all I'm thinking is, first of all, the game is beautiful. Like it's so high res. I mean, we got to be playing it in 4K. At least on mine, it looks 4K. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm like, wow, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. And then I'm thinking, well, I'm wondering if that's because this is a free upgrade game, with the next gen.
Right.
And I'm wondering if the load times are so long because it is literally such a huge detailed world, and it's really more optimized for the next gen as opposed to this gen. You know what I mean? So it's taking longer to load here, but on the new systems with their SSDs, it's going to be instant.
Yeah, and that being said, once you've loaded into the game, it doesn't chug. There's not you don't have to wait for areas to load. You don't have to go from one area to the next and wait for anything to load. The draw distance is absolutely beautiful. Like you don't have to worry about it once you're loaded in.
Yeah.
But the initial load in takes a few minutes, at least on the current gen stuff. I am looking forward to, in about 2 weeks, seeing what this plays like on the fancy new stuff.
Exactly, yeah, because we both have the Xbox Series X. I always have to think about the freaking name. It's not Xbox.
The XX.
The XS. Yeah, so it's coming out. We both ordered the pay monthly thing. So we should have it. Hopefully, it'll arrive day of. I don't know what the shipping is supposed to be, or I don't even know who's shipping it. It's EB. EB is shipping it because that's who we ordered it through.
Yeah, I'm picking mine up at store, so I'm hoping that mine will be ready for me to go. Just walk in there and they say, "Here's your thing," and somebody forgets to start charging me monthly. That would be even better.
Right.
But
okay,
we'll see.
And speaking of new systems, I just want to say this will actually lead us right into the next discussion, I think. I was hoping, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, I was hoping to go into Walmart day of the PlayStation 5 launch. And, of course, we get our Walmart discount. And I was hoping around this time is when Dorothy and Aria both or employees get coupons to use around Christmas. You always have to use them before Black Friday. But it's for one item, you get 20% off. So I was like, oh, awesome. It's usually around this time. I'm going to use that for my PS5.
Yeah.
We just got notice. So first of all, they're not getting coupons this year. They're getting one day in November and one day in December. And they've been doing it all summer, where there's one day a month where you get 20% off everything you buy that day. Okay, so we wait and we do our entire grocery shopping that day, and we get 20% off our entire grocery order. Which is great. And so she says, well, it's November 13th this year. Is that okay? I said, well, maybe not. It depends if they sell out of the PS5 because it launches on the 12th. And the 20% off day is the next day. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. We'll see. Turns out our friend Glenn noticed that Walmart Gaming tweeted yesterday that Walmart will not be stocking their stores with the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X at launch. It will be online orders only, and as stock becomes available, then they will start looking at stocking the stores. So guess what I'm not going to have on launch day, Tico?
I don't know. Did you find out this information early and just burn down a bunch of stores? Is that
No, this was I did not burn down those 3 stores here in Waterloo, which one of which was my wife's store. So
yeah, it's disappointing, particularly for those that don't like dealing with the
so
online
ridiculous.
thing. A lot of people who are purchasing at Walmart don't want to have online. You need a credit card to be able to really. So people who don't have credit cards, who wanted to pay for these things in cash, kids who've been saving up their paper route money and stuff like that, are going to be a little bit out of luck at this point.
You can't,
expecting to line up at Walmart or wherever. If you didn't pre-order at this point at EB, for example, or Best Buy,
it's too late.
It's too late.
And I don't even know if they're going to have stock day one. Like, I have no clue.
Yeah.
If I wait up till midnight and go onto their website, is it going to be there on the 12th? I don't know.
My guess is that it's probably like leaving all of this to an online system that's not prepared for it.
It's going to get hammered.
It's going to get absolutely hammered, particularly for people who just have not been able to get them just yet.
Well, it was hammered the day I tried to pre-order it. The day it went on pre-order, we tried. You and I both tried, and it allowed me to put it in my cart. And then when I went to pay for it, it said, "Sorry, you can't buy this." I'm like, "What do you mean I can't buy it? It's in my freaking cart. How is something sold out that I have in my cart that you allowed me to put in my cart? Why is it suddenly sold out?"
Yeah, it's a system that's not designed for taking pre-orders is the problem. It is an online retail site that is not designed for a pre-order system that they're trying to use for a pre-order system. So when it gets hammered with way too many things, it doesn't know how to handle it, and you end up with a very sad Sean who didn't get to get his toy.
We'll see what happens on the 12th. I will try to order it, but I'm definitely not going to have it day of, because what are they going to do? Ship it same day delivery? I doubt it.
Well, if it's EB, they ship it a day early sometimes. They'll ship.
Yeah, but I can't pre-order now.
Oh yeah, no, you're screwed.
No, I have to, and I'm only ordering it from Walmart because I get at least 10% off. I'm not going to pay full price for it. That's just stupid. Who pays full price for a console?
I don't know.
Anyway, let's move on to some news. There's some interesting news this week. First of all, Ubisoft actually started talking about Beyond Good and Evil 2 again this week. They said it is progressing well. It's still on track. Even though the creator, Michelle Ansel, has left due to stuff and things, they're still working on it. It's still progressing. There's no talk of when we're going to see it. I mean, 2022 is what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, if that.
Right? So who knows? Well, anyway, but really want to talk about Ubisoft because news just came out from Polygon that now we're hearing that not all of Ubisoft's PS4 games will work on PS5. Here's the clincher. The games that don't work on PS5 will work on Xbox Series X. What?
What? I don't know. That makes it's a very odd thing. Like, is that it just to me, like, why? Why would you not make sure that this works?
Most of our back catalog games will have backward compatibility between the next and current generations of consoles, Ubisoft's statement reads, with a few exceptions. Those exceptions are Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It's all Assassin's Creed. Listen to this. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy, Chronicles India, Chronicles China, Chronicles Russia, and then Risk, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Werewolves Within, and Space Junkies. Basically all their VR games will not run on PS5. But why? And yet those Assassin's Creed games will work on Xbox Series X, but they won't work on PS5? What's going on here?
Like that part, I don't understand. Like, I get the VR stuff. I can understand that maybe not working because of things. I don't know the internal workings of this.
I don't know, because VR will work on PS5. PS5 will support the VR hardware.
Yeah, I can at least understand. Not necessarily that I can understand it, but if you said, "Oh, the VR games for the PS4 VR games won't work," I'd be like, "Oh, okay," and my head would just come around to some sort of explanation, just be like, "Okay, I'm fine with that." But like the regular games, like this, the Chronicles series, or those are the side-scrolling Assassin's Creed games. How can you not figure out how to make those work?
But look at Syndicate. How is Syndicate not backwards compatible, but Unity is?
Yeah.
What? Or Odyssey, or any of these. Why Syndicate? What's with Syndicate that it's not backwards compatible? I don't get it. And why is it not backwards compatible on PS5? Risk. Yeah, really, right? Risk?
Is that really pushing the system to its limits? That Risk there? Can't get it on the PS5, won't run Risk?
Doesn't make sense. You know, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go back and play Syndicate on my PS5. I just found this so strange. Although I am actually more upset that the VR games won't work, because I do plan to move my VR onto my PS5. Right? And the fact that, like, those VR games are fantastic. Ubisoft's VR games are great. Although they're not all of them. No. Bridge Crew.
Just 3 of them.
That's only 3 of them. The Eagle game isn't listed there. That's a Ubisoft VR game.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh my God. It makes no sense to me, Tico. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Nope.
I'd like some answers.
Nope.
Get me some answers.
I don't have the answers for you. But what I do have is some more PS5 news. Into the Spider-Verse. The Miles Morales suit from Into the Spider-Verse movie has now been added to the Miles Morales Spider-Man game in such a way that... Sorry?
I said that's a good suit. That's a good
choice. It is a good... Yes. But here's the thing. When you don that suit, it actually turns his character into 12 frames per second, just like the movie.
Oh.
So he actually
really
looks and acts like he is in the movie in the game. Like, it's not a 60 frame per second character anymore. It becomes a 12 per second, 12 FPS frame or whatever.
I like when they do that, when they put that thing on it and it acts the way it should from the movie. It gives you that bit of a nostalgia. It
gives you, it looks and feels like the character from the movie, which is really, really cool. PlayStation CEO says that the future of VR is still years away. Well, this is very, very interesting to me. So Sony isn't giving up on VR, but what I thought we would actually eventually see PlayStation VR 2.0 with PlayStation 5. Not necessarily this year, but I kind of expected maybe next year they'd introduce a new VR. But it sounds like while they still support VR and while they're still working on VR, they don't believe that the future of VR is very close, like where it's fully immersive games totally in VR. You know, so while they're still working on it, it sounds like Sony doesn't have plans to release a new VR anytime soon.
Yeah,
which I find very interesting.
Yeah, well, particularly after the fact that they're not, like at the same time they're not making sure that the Ubisoft VR games are really going to work for people on the PS5.
That's Ubisoft. That's Ubisoft. That's up to them, not Sony. Right?
Well, I still blame Sony.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I have no reason to. I have no reason to blame Sony. I am.
I don't know what. It doesn't make sense to me behind the scenes why those specific games will not translate to PS5. But listen, I don't work for Ubisoft, and if I did, their games would be better, even better than they are. Because I'm that good.
Would they?
But But the PlayStation 4 is going to be supported by Sony for years to come. They have already stated, Sony's Jim Ryan has stated that they don't plan to cut off PlayStation 4 sales by any means for either games or systems. And they've actually, because of COVID, they've actually relaxed on their push for developers to develop mostly for PS5. With the new technologies that PS5 gives them. At first, they were really pushing, really make your game really, push the boundaries of PS5. They've relaxed on that because of COVID, but second, because if you think about it, there's 100 million PS4s out there. You don't want to cut them off like that.
You don't.
Right?
You don't want to. You don't want to starve your fan base. You
Right.
keep feeding them a little bit of morsels here and there to keep them fed and
Yep.
on your side until they buy the PS5.
Right. I mean,
Until you've converted all 100 million of them.
right? Exactly.
You don't piss them off.
And you know what? Honestly, this is normal. This is normal for Sony. They did the same thing with PlayStation 2. I mean, how many years did PlayStation 2 go? It went 10 full years.
I think PlayStation 2 went longer than PlayStation 3. Like,
it did.
I mean, I think they were supporting it for longer than they did the 3.
3, or was it 4 years after the PlayStation 3 launched, they were still supporting PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Right? I think the PlayStation 3 didn't last as long into PlayStation 4 simply because the 4 was such a superior system to the 3. The 3 was awful.
Yeah.
But, so this is typical for Sony to continue supporting the old generation for years after a new console comes out. And I don't see them, with the popularity of the PS4, it's very similar to the popularity of the PS2. And so it makes sense for them to continue supporting it. And I would not be surprised in the least if 3 years down the road, when 3 or 4 years, we finally hear they're going to stop making the PS4.
Yeah, and then everybody's going to get up in arms about it, and
no, I mean, I think
just what they,
I think
just
by
what
then,
they do.
I know.
They'll just get up in arms because that's just what people do.
People do that, exactly. They want to take offense at something, and this is going to be the thing they take offense at that day. Sony does expect to actually sell more PS5s in its first year than even the PS4 in its first year. So they expect to move more units in the first fiscal year than they did PS4. So that's, we'll see. I mean, if Walmart can provide it, they got to get the stock out to these stores and, I don't know. I'll report back 2 weeks from now and tell you whether or not I got one. I don't even know when I'm going to get my Xbox. Like, I don't know if EB is going to ship it the day before or 2 days before so that I have it on launch day. I don't know what the plan is there. And we haven't received word about it at all.
No, like there's been no information about that. And I was like, we got in, and then that's it. Silence.
Right?
Like, I assume that mine will be available for because I'm doing pickup for mine, so I'm assuming mine will be available for pickup on day one, and I just go to that store, and they're like, "Hey, here's your console. Have fun."
And I think they'll be like, "Hey, prove you bought it. Where's your proof of purchase?" And I'll be like, I don't know.
They'll be like, "Look behind you," and then run.
That's how you do it.
Because I forgot to grab the console. I just ran out of the store. So it's less useful, but
well, speaking of running.
Yes.
I don't know where I'm going with that one.
I'm like, you got nothing that makes sense to me unless I haven't.
Speaking of running, which is what most people are doing from the theaters, let's talk about movies and TV.
All right.
I saved it. Did you like that, Chico? Did you like that save? Was that worse than before, or?
I mean, it was. I don't think we can get worse than before, but it was not good. So I watched an Amazon Prime the new Borat movie.
I don't know why. Why did you do this? Why?
I've
never seen the first one. Like,
well, okay. So
are they really that good?
I mean, they're entertaining. I mean, the word "good" probably doesn't fall in. It's. I mean, Sacha Baron Cohen, and he does like a ton of ridiculous characters, and he, his whole shtick across the board is interviewing people or talking to people well dressed up in ridiculous costumes. That's all he's been doing for the last little bit.
Yeah.
He's a very good actor at the end of the day. Like, people don't really see that because he's only done the ridiculous stuff, but he's also very political.
Well, he is good in the fact that he can play a character who is playing a character who is doing an impersonation of someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so I really enjoyed the movie. Again, not good, but it was fun. It was, so, obviously everybody knows who Borat is. So for him to come and to walk around, people know who Borat is. It's going to be impossible for him to dress up as Borat and do it. So he has different costumes and stuff he's done. And a lot of the movie focuses around his daughter that he's bringing in, who's doing a lot of the sketches and stuff too with people. And it's very entertaining to see you know, he's going around to like, you know, different states in America. It really focused heavily on Trump and
Is it
you know,
more like a sketch show, like just a bunch of sketches put together?
not sketches per se, but it's a bunch of setups where
Setups.
like,
That's what
you
I
know,
mean. Sure.
yeah. So not like that. Yeah, sketches implies that it's like it's all the whole thing is scripted, but this is a bunch of setups where like he'll dress up like okay, like he'll go into, you know, he'll be play the character and he'll go into you know, a women's like a women's, I think it was a women's Republican Party, you know, thing, and they'll go in and they'll talk about like, you know, ridiculous things about how
Right.
in Kazakhstan or whatever, like, you know, women don't get to vote, they don't get to
But
drive,
there's no story going on, is what I mean. Like it's
oh
just
no,
it's a bunch of setups.
oh no, there's a story because they're
Oh, there
filming
is.
stuff in between. They're filming things in between the setups and stuff like that as, like, you know, filler to guide a storyline.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it does have a storyline. Yes.
Okay.
It's a
Kind of
full
like
storyline thing.
I've been watching through the Between Two Ferns movie. I have recently I've heard of it, but I recently really discovered Between Two Ferns and started watching the Funny or Die sketches, and my gosh, they're freaking hilarious. And then of course they did a movie on Netflix, the Between Two Ferns the movie. And what's interesting about the Between Two Ferns movie is they're just taking a lot of the sketches from YouTube and just throwing them into the movie. Like we've seen them all. They're all of a sudden now I mean, sure, there's a lot of cameos and a lot of new footage.
Yeah.
But they've taken a lot of the stuff you've already seen on YouTube and put it into the movie. You've already seen it.
Yeah. And so that's sort of stuff. So those are the setup scenes, like the live action scenes. And there's stuff like I'm sure you've seen the whatever the controversy with Rudy Giuliani, you know, that's saying that, oh, he was just adjusting his microphone and stuff like that.
Yes.
From that, there's a scene in
that's
the movie
from the
where,
movie. Oh, that's from the
movie.
Borat movie. Oh.
So that's from what that is. Like, you know,
Okay.
Slight spoiler alert because it's been all over the news.
Right.
There's a scene where the daughter interviews him and then says, well, let's go back to the you know, they're in a hotel room. Let's go to the bedroom and have a drink. You know, and he lies back on the bed and undoes his pants, and he says that he was
tucking his shirt in.
He was tucking his shirt in. I mean, he was. It's what it. Watch it and make your own assumptions based off of this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man.
I mean, there's a reason why that guy's a Trump supporter.
Did you watch the first episode of The Mandalorian season 2?
I have not. I have heard of this Mandalorian.
It is
guy.
a show. No, so first of all, can I just rant a little bit? Like it's just I find it so weird. So Disney Plus, of course, when they launched, they said, "Hey, we're gonna have all of these Marvel shows," and they listed a bunch of them, right? And we're gonna have a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
We have now got 2 seasons, Tico, of the one Star Wars show and 0 seasons of Marvel shows. What is going on here? How do we have 2 seasons of this and no Marvel things whatsoever in over a year of, or I think it's been about a year now.
It's been exactly a year because that's I purchased it right when it came out, the year subscription, because I wanted to watch Mandalorian.
Right.
And now it's asking me to renew right as the second season of Mandalorian is coming out. So this is basically hey, we're going to get you with Mandalorian, and we're going to tell you about this. We're going to tell you some casting news every once in a while and stuff like that about, like, you know, who's going to play Moon Knight and, you know, the She-Hulk thing that we're going to have and all of this stuff. But we're never actually going to put a Marvel show out on here.
Like, seriously, how is it in a year we've had none of the Marvel shows and now 2 seasons of how were they able to film 2 seasons and Marvel hasn't done a single one is really all I want to know is, I don't get it. Behind the scenes, what is going on that they can't even do 1 season of a show?
Yeah.
But Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau can do 2 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much they filmed after they finished where season 1 was going to end, and then, you know, how much they kept going on and how much they already had in the can, so to speak, ready to go for season 2.
Well, the whole season's done. Like, they're done season 2.
No, but right? I mean, when they finished season 1, like when they actually actually finished season 1 was like, whatever, it was like a year and a half ago when they finished season 1. So maybe if they started season 2 right away, they got a bunch of stuff in the can. So now it's just tweaks and a few reshoots.
But then why was Marvel not also filming kind of at the same time when they knew?
They probably thought they had plenty of time to get everything done in time until COVID hit, and then they're like, oh well, crap, this is inconvenient,
right?
And now they're gonna be like, oh well, COVID, so that's why you don't get any stuff until year 3 of Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, seriously. So anyway, Mandalorian season 2 is back. I watched it today at lunch. Here's what I love about it. I'm not going to spoil anything. So there's a couple of really great. There's a great cameo, which I'm not going to spoil because it's not a cameo you'll ever think of. But when you see it, you're like, oh
yeah, no, I that's already been spoiled for me, and I'm happy about it.
And then we'll talk offline what you think. I don't want to spoil it on the show. And then there's also, I'm going to say it's a throwback to one of the movies. There's like basically, you're going to see something that somebody has and like, holy crap, is that? And yes, it is. Yeah, it's so great. There's so many throwbacks. It's really cool to see sort of the state of the world after the Return of the Jedi. And it just continues. This really does continue right from where it left off. Mando is now on a journey to reunite the child with his people. But nobody knows nobody knows what Yoda is. Right? Yoda doesn't have a species name.
He's Yoda.
Yoda doesn't have a species homeworld. Right? Nobody knows what Yoda is, or where they come from. And so Mando is now on a journey to find the child's people and return him home. So this is going to be really interesting, especially from a Star Wars lore point of view. They are going to, for the first time in ever, like a long time, they're going to have to create brand new Star Wars lore, which is a really exciting thing, I think. We're going to learn something we've never known about Star Wars.
That's kind of cool. I'm excited to see. I'm really excited to see. That's my evening watching tonight. I was out working all day today, so I did not get a chance to watch that today. So that is my watch this evening. I hope Shannon. I can't remember if she's watched any of season 1 or not.
I'm going to be watching it again because Dorothy watches it too, but I couldn't wait. Yeah. I couldn't wait to watch it, so I watched it at lunch.
Yeah, no, I just don't know if she's watched season 1 at all, and whether or not I have to go through season 1 with her again before.
It might actually. I started watching season 1 again, and I'm going to go through it over the next week, just kind of fully caught up again. But because it was such a solid season 1, like it really is. Yeah. But the one thing I did love about the season 2 premiere was it was almost a full hour, Tico. Like, remember last year's were like 26 minutes, 34 minutes. This was 54 minutes long. Like, what? That's the longest episode of all of them so far.
Let's just wrap this up. Come on. Let's wrap this up, Sean. Let's keep...
Right?
I want to go watch it. I'm so excited.
I know. It is. It's so good, and I won't give anything away, but it brings something in that as soon as you hear it, you are going to know what it is. And it is all something...
Right,
listen.
Stop.
No, listen. It's something we've heard of, but we've never seen. And so we finally get to see something that has been in Star Wars and talked about since the first Star Wars in 1977.
All right. I'm excited to watch it. Stop teasing now because I can't go watch it now because I'm stuck talking to you.
I am not forcing you to stick around. Do you want me to
wrap it up?
Do you want me
to wrap it up?
I'm not wrapping it. No, I'm going to...
Just like Uncharted movie has.
Wow.
See, I can do it too.
Wow.
I can do it too. See, it's bad, isn't it? Isn't it? That's how it feels on this end.
The Uncharted movie has wrapped.
Yes.
Which is interesting because it only just started filming in July, but they've completed it 3 months later. Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, which
Yeah, Disney.
Right.
somebody from the Uncharted movie to give you a hand with some of your shows.
Right, your Marvel shows. Anyway, Uncharted, a young Nathan Drake played by Spider-Man.
Yep.
At first, I wasn't sure how I felt about that casting as Tom Holland as Nathan. But
You
when I
saw that
saw a picture of him, holy crap, he looks like Nathan Drake.
He looks exactly like you would expect a young Nathan Drake. Like, they've done a great job on the
Yes.
costume. And at this point, I'm like, I am excited to see this movie. There's, for the longest time, I could not picture anybody other than Nathan Fillion
Right.
doing this role.
Yes.
But as a young Nathan Drake, he is perfect. I still think that they got to hire Nathan Fillion for like flash forward scenes or something like that.
No, they should hire Nathan Drake to be the narrator talking about earlier adventures. Right? So he's like today's Nathan Drake, but he's telling the story of his younger years, which is Tom Holland. That's what they need to do.
I would be on board for that.
Yeah.
Anything that keeps Nathan Fillion working, I'm fine with. To be honest with you.
Nathan Fillion is working with the Rookie
I know.
and Suicide Squad. And,
no, I'm glad that he's finally getting work. He's paid his dues.
Yeah,
Good Canadian actor there.
Yeah, from Winnipeg. Dungeons and Dragons is getting a live-action TV show as well as a movie. The movie was announced a while back. But here's what I find very strange of this. This is Hasbro, who owns, of course, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And they've licensed a TV show, a live-action TV show, and a live-action movie. But I kind of think of it as like, Dungeons and Dragons is just fantasy. Like,
It's
Lord of the Rings.
It's generic.
Yes. Lord of the Rings is essentially a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
Right? Any fantasy movie with dragons and elves and dwarves is essentially a D&D movie. So what are they going to do that's special?
You know what I hope they do? I hope they do a live action remake of the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
The cartoon? That's
Remember
the
the cartoon
first.
with the kids
Yes.
who were getting together?
Yes, and
Where
they got
playing
sucked
game
into
and
the
they
world.
Live action version of that, and I'm happy.
That's what I first thought of when they said live action D&D. The first thing I went to was the Saturday morning cartoon that I never missed. I loved that show because it was hilarious. But it turns out, yes, they are going for an adventure comedy. So it makes me wonder if they are doing the Saturday morning cartoon in a live action version.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I'm in for that, but there is no information about what the movie's about. And I really want to know, because it can't be just some generic fantasy thing. It's got to be, like, you know what I would really love? I would love somebody to finally do a proper live-action Dragonlance movie. Take the Dragonlance Chronicles books and make a movie out of it. They've tried to do the cartoons, and they were terrible. They were just awful. But with today's technology, you could absolutely make a phenomenal Dragonlance trilogy. And I think it would work so well. It's such a great story with so many memorable characters. You know, when I think of D&D stories,
stuff. I mean,
when I think of D&D stories, I think Dragonlance, you know, and stuff like that. Forgotten Realms is D&D. Like, do some R.A. Salvatore movies. That's D&D. So, from that point of view, what are they going to do that's sort of special and really sets it apart from a generic fantasy?
Yeah, or is D&D just the name you've slapped on there in order to draw a few extra viewers?
Exactly. All right. Apparently, we're going to get an an Assassin's Creed show.
Yes.
On the flicks.
Assassin's Creed on Netflix is in development now. A live
action. I believe there's going to be an anime as well. They're doing a bunch of shows.
They've announced the animated one a while ago, but they've just announced that they are working on a live action show as well. And
my response to that, it's about frickin' time.
Yeah, it's exactly the perfect type of thing for a serial show.
Can you imagine an Assassin's Creed show with the quality of The Witcher?
Yeah, like throw some money at those guys and give them the 3 seasons before you cancel them like you do with everything else.
Right?
We'll be sad 3 seasons from now, but I'm glad that we're getting it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I don't even think it needs to be a character we already know. Give us a new assassin.
No.
Create a whole new
Give us
story.
a
I
new-
don't care.
Yeah.
But if it has the quality of like The Witcher, it's going to be, they could do so much with it, honestly.
Yeah. I'm excited about the possibilities with that being a TV show,
Yeah.
and I'm shocked it's taken them this long to get there.
So, now we got Assassin's Creed coming. We have The Witcher on Netflix. What else should Netflix look at? What would make a great Netflix show? The first thing I think of, Tico, Mass Effect.
Mass Effect would be a fantastic show. If you're going video game to Dead Space, I would love a Dead
Ooh.
Space
That would be interesting.
show. Like, I know there's not a lot of other people on that, but that would be like a great limited series to see something like Dead Space done.
What about like a Splinter Cell?
Splinter Cell, again, great,
Right?
like a Jack Ryan style spy movie
Yeah.
type.
The whole,
type
because
series.
you could do the whole stealth ops,
Yeah.
thing with that, and really show how sneaky these agents can be, and taking people down with unawares. That, I think, that would be a really interesting show, like some kind of like a spec ops under Black Ops sort of thing. It's there's.
We know we're getting a Borderlands movie, stuff
Are
like
we?
that.
How did I not know
Oh,
that? Did I just forget?
You forgot.
Okay.
That's an old thing.
Yeah.
That's what's his name? The guy who did the other big movie thing is doing it.
Oh, the other big movie thing.
Listen, I forget things too.
W.S. Anderson, is that right? Is that who I'm thinking of?
No.
No, he
No,
did the Resident
the
Evil
guy-
movies.
He did the Pirates movies.
Oh, I don't remember his name. Oh, Jerry Bruckheimer did the Pirates
Yes.
movies. Is that he's
Yeah.
doing Borderlands?
I think he's doing the Borderlands one.
Oh, okay, cool. I kind of forgot
I
that.
think I'm probably entirely wrong, and people are going to be like, "No."
I'm going to be honest though. I trust Netflix based on history, especially based on what they did with The Witcher. I kind of trust Netflix with a property like this more than a generic movie.
They're throwing the money where it needs to be thrown.
Oh, The
Movies-
Division. Aren't they still doing a Division movie with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes.
Is that still
Yes.
happening?
I don't know. It was last week. I don't know. I don't know if it was last week or not. But they all these things have gotten changed or moved or time frames shifted.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm hoping so. Like, I want to. These things are good properties to have live action content built for them. So
I'm
keep
surprised.
doing it.
I'm surprised 343 hasn't gone to Netflix and said, "Hey, we want a Halo TV show."
There was a Halo TV show in talk at one point. I don't know where that's gone because that was in talks around the same time as Infinite was announced.
Yeah, but it never happened.
It never happened.
I
But
mean,
don't know if it's
remember
still
there was originally supposed to be a Halo movie. Blomkamp was supposed to do it, and that became District 9.
turned into District 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that is it. We're just going to go on and on as long as we can, but the show must come to an end here with episode number 390. Not ending like I said before, but just this episode is ending. So don't worry, Tico.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep you around for a few more weeks.
Stay on payroll for a couple more weeks.
Couple more weeks. Have those steak knives arrived yet? I mean, they've been lost in the mail for 5 years. They haven't arrived yet?
No steak knives just yet.
All right. Well, they're in the mail. They're in the mail.
Great. They're still in the mail.
They're
Okay,
still in the mail. COVID has delayed them. I think.
That's clearly what it is. It was COVID.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 390. Of course, give us a like, subscribe, and comment here on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, come check us out at youtube.com/OMG Nexus. Follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour, and on Facebook we are OMG Nexus. I am Zion Tane everywhere, and that is XIANTAYNE.
You can follow me on the Twitters at Mr. Second Place, and on Instagram, check out Flipping Tables with OMG for all of your board game goodness.
Lots of great stuff going over there, so check us out. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week.
I guess.
I was going to say, why did you delay yourself? You got to say it right away, Tico.
Because I stabbed myself with a knife by accident,
Your steak
right
knife?
when I was supposed to say.
Your steak
No,
knife?
it's just like a pen knife, but I was about to say it, and I accidentally like was closing it, and it closed on my finger, and I'm like,
Okay.
like it took me a second to like
We'll say it again.
take a deep breath in. But guys,
Stop stabbing yourself with knives. It's not good.
yeah, I fidget. That's what I do, and I stab myself. But instead, I should press buttons, right?
Yeah, like the
One
one
down
right
below?
there. Press
one
that
there,
button
right below us.
That's right. And
Yeah.
and wherever the other icons are, check out those videos over there, and give us a like, subscribe,
Stuff
and
all over this page. Press them all.